Hi, this is Sean Clinch, the host of Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast, and this episode is brought to you by our friends at Shoal Creek Saloon, your unofficial home to UT men's and women's basketball. The second and final national signing day for college football is literally nothing anymore for programs like Texas, but Coach Sarkisian had a lot to say, and a legend from north of the Red River, an icon in country music. We pay tribute to the great Toby Keith. Let's talk about it. All right, episode 349 here on Stories Inside the Man Cave. I am Sean Clinch, your host right here, and this, you should see the other guy. The twice a year fever blister, herpes, if you'd like to be technical about it, but twice a year, once in early spring and once at the beginning of the football season. It's ridiculous. Anyway, hey, let's talk about it. Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast brought to you by these two great businesses right here. We'll begin with the upper left, Shoal Creek Saloon, your unofficial home for Texas men's and women's basketball games away from the arena. And FYI, the beginnings of the crawfish season, it has started, but due to the drought last year, the harvests are minimal. So they are at Shoal Creek Saloon are receiving shipments of those mud bugs daily, and they are putting them in the boil. They're boiling them ASAP. So follow them on Instagram and their Facebook page for the updates. They usually get a shipment late morning, and you do not want to miss it because that is some of the best crawfish I have ever had. Shoal Creek Saloon, and also Honest Plumbing and Air, where a handshake still means something. All right, February signing day. It used to be the only national signing day that mattered for college football, but now that there are two signing periods, programs like Texas, the Power 5 upper echelon programs, the signing period in December is the most important. And for February National Signing Day, it's not irrelevant, but most programs like Texas finish out their program either through the portal transfers and their signees in December. And Texas did not sign anybody on this week for February's National Signing Day. But Coach Sarkisian, now the defending, go to the SEC, will not be able to defend his Big 12 championship, but did win the final Big 12 championship that Texas will ever get to compete for. But he had a lot to say about the kind of kid that he tries to recruit, and it begins with the city of Austin.
I want players to want to come to the University of Texas because of all of the right reasons. The history and tradition, the campus, Austin, Texas, the power of the degree, the quality of players around them, the coaching staff, all of those things. If you're not coming for those reasons, you're not going to be happy. It's not going to work out for you. And really, quite frankly, any school you choose for not the right reasons, it never works out. And then you look up a year or two from now, and they're the same guys that are in the transfer portal.
You know what? That's one of the reasons I really, really, really respect and enjoy what Steve Sarkisian. I love his press conferences, and he's the same way in person. He's very authentic, very real, but he's evolving. And so many head coaches at this level are all the way trickled down to FCS, even Division II, and the G5 schools, which are right below the Power 5. They are constantly having to evolve. It's not just be a head coach CEO. It's evolving to learn how this portal works, how to better use NIL, how to understand it without using it as your primary recruiting tool, because it's not going to work. Too many kids enter the portal for the wrong reasons. I remember, I want to say late December, I think it was early January, there were 1,500 kids in college football's transfer portal. I mean, it's pretty amazing. But he's right. You've got to come. It's still the foundation is you got to go to a school that suits your needs as far as city, academics, and the coaching staff and the teammates. And, honestly, I mean, I think the portal is a good opportunity. If you're not getting playing time after 2 years, I think it's a good tool to use to go find where that may be, And if you have a chance to a better opportunity to improve your NFL draft stock somewhere else, if you're that type of guy. All right, it is Super Bowl week in case you have been under a rock or just don't care or have not been paying attention. Super Bowl LVIII, Super Bowl 58. I think it's going to go down and be one of the best Super Bowls we've seen. We've had some really good ones here of late. But when you look at these games, I really, you can go and dig deep. You can and stop saying Brock Purdy's Mr. Irrelevant. That storyline's got to stop. We all know he was the last pick of the draft out of Iowa State by the 49ers. And, okay, he is relevant. Brock Purdy is relevant. Now, this will be one of those games to really test him because you see big players really become legends in the Super Bowl. Obviously, in big games, you step up and become that dude, so to speak. But as far as the Super Bowl, what is your I love the prop bets. I really do. I love the prop bets, which are unique. And by the way, quit it with Taylor Swift. She's done that whole deal with she and Kelsey have done a lot for NFL. And come on, admit it. It doesn't bother you. It doesn't affect you one bit. Now, I don't watch it because of her. I mean, you know my stance, if you know me well, is when the Cowboys lose, their season's over with, I really don't care anymore. I mean, I keep following a little bit. And that's why the prop bets are so popular with me, because I've seen more Super Bowls than the Dallas Cowboys have ever been a part of or even contended for. And now that's real talk right there. So the prop bets, let's say what color is the Gatorade going to be on the winning coach and team? Who's going to call the first time out? I'm going to say San Fran because KC has the veteran experienced quarterback. 3, 2, and 1. And then, of course, there's that one with Usher performing at halftime. The money line is plus 550 that Taylor Swift may make an appearance. I think if I remember my betting terms correctly, for every $100 you bet, I think that's $55 you earn if you get that right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Plus 550 on the money line. But it's things like that make this game interesting, and it's a lot of fun. So let me know what you think are your top prop bets, and go ahead and tell me who you think is going to win, and how many times. I'll say one. How many times are we going to see Taylor Swift in this Super Bowl? I'll put the over/under during the game, not pregame, but regulation, first quarter kickoff to when it's 4 zeros or 3 zeros on the clock. 4 zeros. I'll say over under 9 times. We will see the camera on Taylor. It's all good though. And also, if you know me, you know that I have an affection for Oklahoma City. I have affection for the state of Oklahoma for how they treated me in the third TV station I worked for, the third market I worked in when I was in sportscasting on the local TV side. I worked for the Fox affiliate, and I fell in love with Oklahoma City. I grew up hating Oklahoma because of the UT-OU rivalry. But I fell in love with it. Stayed there 6 years, 6 great years of my life. Well, one thing that I really learned, I had to immerse myself in the culture there probably more than anybody, because I knew it from the other side of the Red River. I immersed myself. I really put support the effort, got to know people, and one of which was Toby Keith. Well, we were far from being close. We were good acquaintances, if you will. I didn't have the relationship with him like a lot of others did, but I will say this. Like Matthew McConaughey is to Texas, Toby Keith is that for OU times 1,000, meaning he has real relation. Not to say that Matthew does not have real relationships, but Toby really has authentic relationships with the fans, all the coaches. He's a big-time fan of OU, and he's a big-time supporter. Loves his community, loves his state. So just to give you an idea, I want to say it was 2010. So Wayman Tisdale, an OU men's basketball legend, Billy Tubbs, the late Billy Tubbs, recruited him to play for OU. Wayman was phenomenal. Talented jazz musician. Well, in 2009, he passed away. And I was working there at Fox 25, and we had to go do a story about it because it just sent shockwaves. It was his big smile was so radiant. Wayman Tisdale, a significant figure in Oklahoma. And he and Toby were close. Toby was so close with OU coaches, fans, coaches from all sports. And Toby from Moore, Oklahoma, which is in between Norman, off 35, then Moore, then Oklahoma City. There's a big water tower in Moore. It says home of Toby Keith. Well, fast forward, I think it was May of 2009 when Wayman Tisdale passed away. Fast forward to February 6th of 2010, halftime of OU men's basketball game against Texas. Toby wrote a song called Crying for Me, and he performed it at halftime at the Lloyd Noble Center. It was so beautiful, beautifully written. And Toby wore, in honor of Wayman, the number 23 jersey that Wayman wore for OU in honor. And I think Blake Griffin was on the team. He wore 23 at the time. And each of Wayman Tisdale's jazz band members wore each of the jerseys in which Wayman Tisdale wore in the NBA. It was a beautiful sight. And this is kind of a long clip, but this is an edited clip. It just kind of our tribute to Toby Keith that day, 14 years ago.
But a tear I couldn't find showed me how I'm supposed to live, and now you showed me how to die. I was lost till Sunday morning. I woke up to face my fears. While writing you this goodbye song, I found a tear. Tom Braxton and the Wayman Tisdale Band. Go player upside down, left-handed, backwards bass guitar. I'll see you on the other side, superstar. I'm gonna miss that smile. I'm gonna miss you, my friend. Even though it hurts the way it ended up, I'll do it all again. So play it sweet in heaven, 'cause that's right where you wanna be. I'm not crying 'cause I feel so sorry for you. I'm crying for me.
Simply beautiful. That was 14 years ago. Almost to the date that Toby Keith passed away earlier this week. I'll be one of thousands, maybe millions, to say this, but we send our condolences to Toby Keith and his family, and to the OU community in all the state of Oklahoma. What a tremendous loss. We witnessed some big losses, and I know it's a cycle of life. I get it, but it's still hard. And he fought a good battle, stomach cancer. It's hard to watch that. It's hard to watch it. I think we all have ties to cancer in some form or fashion. And this is thing, this is what really moved me. And we all, from fans to the good, this is the beauty of social media, all the outpouring of love that people show for people who have passed away. And I think it's beautiful. There were so many people from UT, from Texas. Everybody forgets the rivalry because this is amazing. Just a good human being here. Beginning with, look, Tony Casillas. These all have OU ties. Tony Casillas, the former OU and Dallas Cowboy defensive line great, paying tribute to Toby Keith, Big Dog Daddy. Eddie Radosevich, just a talented digital media talent, just a friend of mine, showing the picture that they did at OU men's basketball at Lloyd Noble Center, the spot where he sat next to OU AD Joe Castiglione every game. Toby's OU hat, his guitar, and the Red Solo Cup for Red Solo Cup, the song. And then we've got Patty Gasso, the multi-national championship winning head coach. Toby supported them all. And, of course, Skip Johnson, the former pitching coach for Augie Garrido, now the head coach at Oklahoma, took the Sooners to a College World Series, I think 2 seasons ago. See, Toby had a relationship with each of these people. And man, Big Dog Daddy, rest in peace to him. And God, we think of you and the family. I think right now more than ever, I think we all know in situations like this, it's always good to talk about it.